And the deals rotate. Every month, new offers.
Love TMA? Then nominate yourself to be the Morning After Listener of the Month, and you could be selected and score a Form Energy prize pack. Sign up now at 101ESPN.com or TMASTL.com. The TMA Listener of the Month Club is presented by Form Energy. We do the work.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Watch TMA on YouTube. Click the bell to subscribe. Download the podcast. Find it at TMASTL.com or wherever you podcast. And check us out on TikTok at TMASTL.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. You're hearing TMA All Day on KPNT HD2. After, the Morning After, presented by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota on KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis, and the TMA STL YouTube channel with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, and Jackson Burkett.
It's 11:05 in St. Louis. You're listening to After, the Morning After, presented to you by Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. Tim McKernan, Kenneth Iggy Strode, Doug Vaughn vacationing, Jackson Burkett ill. So Chairman Kurt, who was Iggy going to be on the ones and twos on Thursday, and well, I guess we don't want to do the show on Friday. On Thursday, for Jackson when he's on vacation at Table Rock, which is different than the Lake of the Ozarks, has to step up in here. And Chairman Kurt was getting taught by Jackson on how to do after the morning after during the morning after this week, as it's different than running the board on 101 ESPN, apparently. These are things I'm learning.
A little different.
How different?
Much smaller board. I don't know. I don't want to get into the minutia of it. I'm still trying to make sure we're getting this plane off the ground. But it's good to see you, Iggy.
Good to see you.
Iggy, you got to review Chairman Kurt's podcast today.
No,
right?
I texted Kurt this morning because I got up, and I usually, when I get up, make coffee, go outside, smoke a cigarette, and I'm going to listen to PAFO. But it wasn't up there. I couldn't find it.
Uh-oh.
So I texted
Here
Kurt. I said, do we not have PAFO this week? He said, no, you got the week off. So I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, no episode for you to review.
Is this like Movie Boy?
No, our leader, Mr. Pondoff, was out of the country, and we didn't have an episode ready to be put out. So it's kind of like the 4th of July. You know, Barstool takes the whole week off during 4th
Oh, is that
of
right?
July. Yeah, because I consume a ton of their podcast, and it was tough during that week not having that to
Is
listen
that right?
to. So I understand.
Do other podcasts or businesses do that?
I'm sorry?
Do other podcasts or businesses do the whole week of 4th of July? I like the policy.
I don't know if it's the whole week, but I know that's a slow week for content. So, yeah, but we'll be back and ready to go. We got Girls in the City off the ground and going. So
Iggy has talked about Girls in the City. What is Girls in the City? You can now explain what Girls in the City is, because you are a gentleman, but you're on a podcast with another lady called Girls in the City.
yeah, we don't necessarily think of it as like a gender-based thing. It's just, it's more of a mindset.
Yeah, the title wouldn't make you think that.
What'd you say?
The title wouldn't make you think that.
Yeah, but Girls in the City is more of a state of mind than like a gender role. So, you know, give it a listen. Zoe's great, and we chopped it up. Yeah, Girls in the City.
I look forward to it. I did see you sitting there like a girl with your shoes off and cuddling a pillow.
Boy, this is going to be an awkward hour, isn't it?
You know, I took it upon myself to kind of revamp the Pondoff's Anonymous studio over there.
I like that. I like the look, actually.
You did the design on it?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
When you came in and hung out with us.
It was a disaster.
Well, it just was like a space, like an office space.
A dorm room.
So that's the same place?
Yeah. So I put some like
holy crap
brick on the wall. Invested in some lighting and a lot of furniture, so we're making it our own over there.
Wow! Can I ask this question?
Please.
I think I can speak on behalf of Chris Pondoff, because I might actually be getting involved in that operation. I have a meeting today later on about the possibility of that. So I don't think I'm violating a code. And I think just based on the personality and knowing Chris, I don't think he would care, because I don't think it's going to be like an exuberant amount of money where I am embarrassing him based on dollars. I'm legitimately curious how much that cost as far as the materials.
As far as
what you did, because I've been in that studio when I was on the podcast, and it looked like a break room is how I would describe it. And now I've seen a picture of it, and it looks like a totally different place. So I'm curious what the cost is to make a studio look like that.
So the wall that's kind of our feature wall, it's like an adhesive, and it comes in like 1x1 squares, packs of like 20.
So like audio,
yes.
Probably, yeah. Remember we had that down at 920? Remember that? Like, I don't know what you call it.
It's almost like
audio paneling, maybe?
Sponge type stuff.
Yeah. It's good for acoustics.
So I think I bought 3 or 4 packs of that at about $45 a pop. The furniture I got was all Facebook Marketplace finds.
Okay.
So I know they're in great shape. I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't.
Okay, what was the cost on that?
2 chairs at about $25 a pop. So we're
Okay,
looking
we're going to estimate liberally on our expenses. We're going to estimate conservatively on our revenue. We're at 185 right now. That's where I am right now. We're at 185.
overhead lighting, because the lighting situation in there wasn't great. So I think I spent $60 on lighting.
245. Okay.
A couch, the couch that Chris sits on, $0 came out of my home. And it was a win-win because I was looking to move on from that thing anyway. So, and then like some colored accent lights. I think they call them uplights behind the people sitting. I think that was about $50.
$295.
Yeah, I think
And that's it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't
Iggy, color me intrigued.
And I gave some pictures I haven't seen put up yet.
Are you aware what happened with Lady Gaga last night?
I do.
Was that?
That was a little low. I don't know if that's...
I can't hear anything in my headphones anyway. So there goes that perfect game.
You wanted to throw the perfect game. You promised Martin you were going to throw a perfect game. Kurt, don't let the large smoke-filled bee insult you. Smoke-filled bee? As in like a bumblebee?
How did I insult anybody? I just made an observation.
And what is this smoke? Oh, I guess because you have stripes on.
Oh, I guess, yeah, okay. Well, bees aren't really that color. Yeah, maybe they are. It's close.
Smoke-filled
Good job, buddy.
bee.
By the way, my hat today matches my shirt. It's the
What do we have? Oh, the Brazzers hat, the famed Brazzers hat.
The Brazzers hat. That was given to me in an unboxing. You know, that thing that I begged for things, and I stole it from Portnoy.
So that sounds like you're being facetious
Yeah.
because you came up with it and then Portnoy stole it from you, is what you're saying.
No, I didn't come up with it.
Who came up with it?
I'd never heard of it before. And I said, oh, where you just unbox stuff? And he said, yeah, during COVID, nobody's doing anything. Everybody's at home. They're opening. And now send me stuff. I'll do it.
Text me and I'll talk dirty to you.
The audio on that was great. I don't know if you did something different, but just as an FYI.
Yeah, found the button.
If the podcast Girls in the City doesn't work, which it won't, the studio investment can be converted to a gay porn set. That's from the Warson Woods Wacko.
Well, they use that studio for all the other podcasts, too. So
So all the other podcasts have the same look now?
The ones I've seen, yeah.
Because I thought for Girls in the City, it has like a feminine lighting.
We changed the lighting based on the
How about that, Iggy?
Yeah.
Look at this. Yeah. Look at this chairman.
So, needed to hear that with Chaz and Chris, the more clinical one. The logo is kind of black and yellow.
Okay.
So we go yellow lights for them, pink. It just pops on Girl in the City. So, yeah, that's kind of how we differentiate between our programs on the network.
You did beg for things, and you did steal it from Portnoy. That's from Joe Boo's Rum.
I didn't beg for anything.
All day I dream about sex.
Somebody asked me to do it. I said, if you send me stuff, I'll open it. And they just kept sending things. I didn't say, I need more. And I didn't ask for the Brazzers hat. It just came.
Guys, I'm calling it now. 6 months from now, Chairman Kurt will reveal he's dating a 120-pound twink that loves Putt Shack. That's from the TMA Reddit Insider.
Oof. I do love a girl that loves Putt Shack.
But this, I believe, was insinuating otherwise.
Oh, well, screw them.
The TMA Reddit Insider just took a hit. Isn't Iggy the guy who wore women's lingerie and a pink boa down at Hedonism? Maybe stop with the criticism of Chairman's Pod, Peach Pit. That's from Big Tuft.
Why do you care so much about my life?
Well, we were at the disco, and I didn't have any lingerie or underwear or pajamas, whatever they were. The night was lingerie night, so Debbie just lent me some things.
Debbie.
Did
you ever engage with Debbie?
I did.
Yes.
She was another single girl down there.
A lot of single girls down there?
No, she was part of Beach Loafers.
She enjoy Sapphos?
I don't think so.
Ooh. The story about the origins of Ken's unboxing continues to change. Just admit you bogarted the idea, you Hoosier creep. That's from Gus Chiggin's Prospecting Party. I didn't know this was a source of controversy.
I'd never heard of what unboxing was. I never heard of it. And then I said, maybe I started it. And then
Is it possible that the audience, who may be more into Barstool than you are, because you're not a big Barstool guy, Chairman Kurt is, was familiar with unboxing, and they're like, oh, we have nothing to do during COVID. We'll have Iggy do unboxing like Dave Portnoy is. And so
100%.
you weren't familiar with it.
100%.
Okay.
Somebody else had seen it. I didn't know what it was.
So KG is into interior design, wearing pearl necklaces and getting his nails done. What a shock, he's still single at 40. Dude, just moved to an apartment in the Grove and stop lying to yourself. You'll be bottoming in 6 months. That's from the St. Charles Hermaphrodite.
Who said I was still single?
Oh, is that right?
No, I'm still single.
Yeah, don't
I
tease
found out Jackson had a girlfriend on the air.
Well,
I was talking about that
Nobody wants to have sex with me now!
with Martin and Chairman Kurt because I felt terribly about it. I don't think we discussed this on a TMA, Iggy, and I don't know if you were listening at this moment on TMA, but we had that Belle Reve Media Day thing last Monday, and a couple of girls came over to the table, certainly, way younger than me and probably in Jackson's age range, I think. And they clearly wanted to hang out. What the hell am I going to do? And in my mind, Jackson's single. So I'm like, oh, well, let me talk this guy up and, see if I can, get an assist, so to speak. And then the next day, after we were talking about how the ladies come up to papers, he then reluctantly revealed that he was with somebody. But because, if you recall, I don't know when this was, maybe 3 years ago, he had a girlfriend. He talked about her on the show, and then they broke up. It then became a thing on the show, and so now Papers has trained himself, which maybe Chairman Kurt is doing as well, and maybe you too with the Instacart girl, to not talk about any relationships because then it becomes an issue if and when the relationship does not last, which I think, by the way, is a great perspective, especially for Papers, who I do think is looking to get married, whereas I don't believe you two are looking to get married. That's my assessment. No. I feel very confident about you. That's about a minus 10,000, and you're a minus 800. That's where I am on it. Jackson wanting to get married is at minus 5,000. There's my handicapping.
Yeah, you can't win. I mean, I'm an open book. I mean, if I get laid, I'll let you know. But Jackson is... I remember that day when he said he was dating somebody. I said, big mistake, Jackson.
Uh-oh. You told that? You said that on the air?
In the YouTube chat. I said, big mistake, Jackson.
You were on the air, but in the YouTube chat, you said that was...
No, on your show.
Oh,
I heard him say it on your show, and I typed in the YouTube chat, big mistake,
so
Jackson.
the thing last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Got it.
Nice chocolate booty.
The last time you talked about your love life, it didn't go well for you in the text inbox.
I ran into that on the debut episode of Girls in the City. I was a little too open-mouthed about something. And before it released, I went and took the shears to it. So I'm like, this would not be...
Hold on a second. I need to follow this closely. So what happened? You're doing Girls in the City.
Yeah. Which we talked...
And you said something, but it wasn't live, so you could go back and edit it. And what did you... Oh, you obviously don't want to say because...
we talk a lot about our personal lives and dating stuff. And I had a new situation kind of pop up in my life. And... I'm like Iggy, I'm an open book. Forget sometimes that people actually listen to that stuff. And then when I went back and I was editing it, I'm like, you know what? If she were to happen to hear... And I didn't speak poorly. I was speaking positively about her, if anything. But I'm like, I just don't know if I want this out there. Maybe later, but I took the shears to it.
Especially if you just started going out on one or two dates, even if it was something that was innocuous, if that's a word.
What was that one?
Innocuous? Anyway.
I think the L's silent.
You don't... Innocuous. You don't want to...
Doesn't change.
I should have never even tried to say it.
Innocuous is the one.
That we
Innocuous, okay. Yeah, she made if you only been dating one or two times, you're going out, and she hears it, goes, I don't want them talking about me.
Yeah, that'd be a tough spot. We talked today, I don't know how the things come up. Gluten-free perk. How you were running the board, how did gluten-free perk come up on TMA?
Oh, I think a text sent something in, but
Brian Henson always says free perk, but that isn't the reason why it started. Either way, gluten-free perk, who Brian Henson always signs off with free perk, Oh, because you know why? Because you played the drop where she's
Ruined me.
That's exactly right. That's how it was. And then some of the 101 listeners not familiar with her time on this studio's show love that and wanted to know the history of the drop. And I said, oh, it's gluten-free Perk, who Jackson knew from Mizzou, and she was on the show a few days. But one of the things that I think she was uncomfortable with is like, oh crap, she wasn't familiar with the show. So she's like, oh, I'll just come in and do this in her mind, just like this little podcast. And then all of a sudden she starts getting, I guess it's great to get followers, but that wasn't necessarily her business. And then, people reaching out to her, and she's like, oh, now I got to pay attention to what I'm saying. I think her dad listened to the show. Then somebody knew her mom or something like that. I don't know.
Chairman Steve.
I think that was it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like he's ripping it. He was talking about how beautiful her mom was. And then it was like, this isn't necessarily what I'm comfortable with as like a 25-year-old, recent college grad. So yes, it's especially if you're not aware of it. But Iggy, now being aware of it for a number of years, you heard Jackson say that he had a girlfriend last Tuesday, and you typed in the YouTube chat, big mistake.
Big mistake.
I know. You like water sports.
I need to know the context of that drop.
It was me, Iggy, I believe Joey Vitale, and maybe Wellington, or I'm not sure, but I guess maybe we had talked about my kink that kind of came up.
Oh, wow.
Around that
So
time.
she was having a serious conversation with you about your kinks.
And we were talking kinks, and she turned to me and said,
I know. You like water sports.
See, I don't consider the spitting thing to be water sports, but maybe I'm off on that.
Like golden.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's water sports.
Good.
No.
And I think that's the only water sport, but maybe I'm living too sheltered of a life. I could be wrong.
She was funny.
My nipples, they are soft. They are supple.
I think it was the day Vitale was in there, and I think KG did a Instagram of it and showed their faces. Because I was talking about it, I said, I just don't want to have sex anymore. I just want to find somebody that I can come over, watch TV, go out to dinner with, cuddle, just not have sex. And Perk goes, yeah, it's called a friend. And then you pan to Vitale's like, what?
So the lineup that day was you, Jackson, Vitale, and Perk?
Yeah. And then another time Wellington was in with Perk, I think.
Yes, I was in on that one. That was, I think you and Doug were out, I think. And Joey, Wellington, Perk, and Jackson and myself, I think. I could be wrong. But yeah, I thought she was really good. I didn't know her. I guess in TMA lore, I have to piece between the things. Maybe this is the TMA Reddit stuff that I'm not familiar with. That Jackson just invites friends to come on the show. I think that was what, but I don't remember the backstory. But either way, I can't recall how it all came to pass. And Jackson said, oh, there's this girl I know from Mizzou who's got a big social media following, and I think her sense of humor would work on the show. And I go, okay, I'm not familiar with her. And that's how the gluten-free Perk thing came to fruition, because people were going to be taking time off. And we're like, oh, we'll give, because we had this bench on the show, for lack of a better term, with Charlie and Jay Jr., Chris Raby, that it was like a matter of who we were going to go with. And then with Jay's passing, and Charlie just doesn't want to do it anymore. God bless him. Good for him. I tip my cap that he doesn't have to. And I guess Raby's back in Chicago. Last time I saw him was at Family Golf a couple of years ago.
I texted him before our first show to see if he wanted to do an audio postcard to welcome me back, and never got back to me. Well, he did get back to me, and then I asked him about the audio postcard, and he never got back to me on that. So.
Got it. So we used to have this bench, and it's like, it'd be great to replenish the bench. And if you got some, whatever, I don't know, but like I said, my guess is around 25, 26-year-old who has this kind of sense of humor that she does, it'd be great. And that's how it came to fruition. But then as it turns out, as noted in the James Carlton YouTube chat by Ryan Weemhoff, Jackson knew her. She did not know Jackson.
Girl on girl, whatever. That's hot.
Wonder why she came on then?
Because she knew that we knew about her social media and found it amusing. And I don't think she is a 25-year-old woman. Now, I believe the audience is made up entirely of 25-year-old women, but I guess her circle of 25-year-old women were not familiar with the show. So therefore she wasn't, I know, I can't believe it either. and therefore she wasn't familiar with the show, and so she comes on the show not realizing that in particular somehow that day she had some male friends who were listening to the show, that she would hear about the things that she was talking about, much of which involved her personal life, and I think that kind of skeeved her a little bit. I think if I'm playing this out correctly.
Yeah, I was a little confused, and nothing against Perk, because I thought she was a delight. I thought she was.
So does Henshin.
I thought she was.
He wants her
fabulous.
freed.
But when I saw her Twitter account, and I think she has like 60, 70, 80,000 followers.
Holy crap! When she was on the show, she was at like 20.
I think she had more than that.
I think he might be going a little high. I'll look it up. But
Well, I just thought, I looked at the number of followers and saw some of her tweets. I said, why are they following her? She doesn't tweet anything that's even interesting.
21.5 thousand. So.
Yeah. So I didn't know why she had so many, because I saw her tweets and I said, I think oatmeal is something. And I said, what the hell? How you got followers?
I do play the cello.
Your strange obsession about this chick's very creepy. She was around for like 3 days. You gotta let it go. It's Ernie Bjorkman.
I didn't bring it up.
You know you're my favorite. I've loved you for a long time.
Who was that?
I could have been one of 1,000.
I don't know what porn star that was.
You might have been talking about Mom from Seventh Heaven.
No, that was a porn star, I think.
They're sending in screenshots of the TMA Reddit, and this is about Iggy and Cherie DeVille. Do you have a history with Cherie DeVille?
I mean, we know each other.
Okay. For those not familiar, an adult actress. I think she's in the MILF genre.
Yeah, she's won MILF of the Year for like 5 years.
Oh, is that right?
AVNs.
Cherie DeVille is coming on. She's my favorite. She's a porn actress. She's doing that thing that I guess a lot of people are doing it. I know that Portnoy does it. Is it open boxes on Instagram Live, whatever? People send you boxes and you open them. That is a screenshot from, I gather, the TMA Reddit, because it was sent in by the TMA Reddit Insider. Iggy, let's close the book on this. And then Iggy decided to show her the unsolicited Speedo picture, and that scared her off. So TMA Reddit Insider says he's doing fact-checking today on you.
So we're talking about Cherie DeVille and gluten-free Perk in the same thing?
She has romantic, she has family, and she has also sexy modes.
I mean, that's not why she doesn't come on. I'm not going to keep explaining myself to you. Doug said something about the Speedo pic, and she goes, I'd like to see that at a break. And then we came back from the break, and I showed it to her. She didn't run out of the building. Gross.
You begged for things. You stole the idea. You repeatedly mentioned your shock that you hadn't received a dildo or butt plug, to which you promptly then received them and used them for your Hoosier decor that is from Beer Cats.
Quit worrying about what I do in here. Are you looking at the camera?
Get him.
Munganess makes this program possible. So if you're on board with it and you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle or getting your car serviced, go to St. Louis Acura or to Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. St. Louis Acura, Munganess St. Louis Acura is on Manchester in Baldwin. They're online at stlouisacura.com. And Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota, of course, is in Alton. And support the sponsors. That's the whole deal, brother. 314-287-3002. That is the number directly to the Muckety Mucks at Munganess. 314-287-3002. Munganess, St. Louis Acura. Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. The great Jamie Burkhardt, co-executive producer of this presentation. And truly, without Jamie Burkhardt, this show never exists. So you love the show. Make sure you're doing business with Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. Now, Doug is vacationing, but he still wanted to tell everybody about the sponsor of the 11 o'clock hour here on After the Morning After, and that is Longo Biggs.
Doug Vaughn here for the Longo Biggs Law Firm. Longo Biggs would like to be your law firm of choice. They're not one of these big, giant firms, more of a boutique law firm, and that means they can give you a more personalized service. The right law firm makes a big difference. If you have a serious case, these are the guys you want to have on your side, because what they do is win. Even if you just have a question, you're not sure if you have a case at all, they are happy to take your call and give you advice and help with that. All of their clients have CDs and Doug's personal cell phone numbers. When you're a Longo Biggs client, they're going to give you their full attention until the case is completed. You get high-end service from a small firm that's not dealing with 100 other cases at the same time. your case is going to get maximum attention. Their website is longobigs.com. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
There it is. Longo Big, sponsor of the 11 o'clock hour. James Carlton is the sponsor of our YouTube chat on After the Morning After, and James is online at carltoninsurance.net or by calling 314-961-4800. That's James Carlton, my insurance agent, and he has been my insurance agent since 2019. And a number of people have gotten on board with James. And you can see it when you go to his Google search. You will see 500 plus 5-star reviews for James and his team's customer service. Plus, people save money with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. Chairman Kurt, you're in the James Carlton YouTube chat, and you say you have a DM conversation that puts this all to bed. I don't know what that's in reference to, but you somehow are running the board and participating in the James Carlton YouTube chat.
I'm the patron saint of the YouTube chat. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this has come up quite a bit. Might have been on the first episode of ATMA, whether GFP asked for the Speedo pick or not. And I didn't know if she did or not, but I wanted to go right to the source. So I did ask her. And she said, no. It was like he had that thing ready to be shared.
Uh-oh.
Sure I did.
That was shown to me against my will.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's just having a little fun. Like he had it ready to go. I did, because Doug said something, and she said, I want to see it, so that's why I was ready to go. And she never returns DMs. I think you AI'd that.
I don't know what to say to that.
Either way, I don't really care.
It's an accusation, and then not necessarily a withdrawal of the accusation, just the emotion of said accusation. I haven't seen her Twitter tweets in a while. She's really invested in this World Cup. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah, she's big time into
right?
What's that stuff they play in England on like Saturday mornings?
EPL?
Yeah, I think she's big into that. And
Got it. Hey, get her on the program. Break down the World Cup.
There you go.
That was that Europe, or that Egypt-Argentina game may have been one of the best games I've ever watched.
How about that? 5 goals.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, she's a big World Cup fan. Eric in the Central West End says she's woke AF, but she fine. I don't see anything on here that indicates, like, it doesn't seem like she's. It just seems.
Who are you, Alfred Einstein?
I haven't been on her Twitter in a while.
Clip that off.
What are you waiting for?
Well, I mean, it's just nothing interests me on her Twitter account.
What if you were breaking down your social media activity into a pie chart? What would you say the percentages of the times that you're on each of the different ones that you're a part of?
I would say Facebook 85% of the time, Instagram 15% of the time. That doesn't leave me much to look. Yeah, probably longer.
Right, we're at this point now.
I'm probably at 0 now.
I was really hoping we were going to get to about 112%.
I'll say 13% on Instagram and 2% on Twitter. I'm hardly ever on Twitter.
You like Facebook. Why do you prefer Facebook?
It's easy. And all my friends are on there, so if I have something to promote, they see it now that I got rid of like 3,500 friends.
You deleted a bunch of friends?
Yeah,
Oh, is that right?
After
why the cleansing? And did that take forever?
It did. It took like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Then I just had free time. I go out and smoke, and I start delete. Just a bunch. People were taking. It happened because I wished my niece a happy birthday. And I took a picture of her when she was little, and she was on my lap. She's like 3 years old, and then she's like 21. And I just said, happy birthday, sweetie. Stop growing up so quick. Somebody took that picture, put it on the Reddit page, because how come Iggy's niece is so good looking? He's so ugly. And I said, now you're taking personal stuff from my Facebook page.
I'd like to think even those who loathe any of us or all of us would agree that you leave the families out of it.
Well, they don't care over there.
Okay.
So I just said, I don't know 90% of the people I'm friends with, I don't know. Because, you stick it at friend requests and you say, and they're probably listeners to the show, and if I don't accept them, then they say, "Oh, what kind of a guy is he? Too good to." So I just accept everybody. And I said, I don't know a lot of these people. I'm just going to keep the people that I know are my friends that would not go on Reddit and take personal stuff. So it was like 3,600 people I got rid of.
Damn pay.
Just because she ignores you doesn't mean she ignores everyone. That's the good thing about texting. You can respond and ignore whoever you choose. Like, for example, if you want to go get turtlenecks, that's from Plowboy's Butt Dorito.
Well, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying she knows me. She doesn't know KG. So she responds to a guy she doesn't know.
Me?
Huh?
Who doesn't know me? Perk?
Gluten-free knows you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she knew you.
I mean, I think I spent about as much time with her as you. We did the same shows. I was working here at the time.
Yeah, but you weren't running the board. You weren't co-host. You weren't in here.
The TMA Reddit Insider, while you guys workshop this, the TMA Reddit Insider says he has been on the TMA Reddit for a long time and does not recall this post regarding your niece and says to stand by.
Well, I guess you missed it. Or somebody deleted it because I reached out to the moderator and I said, look, they can say what they want about me, slander me, you don't take that down. But when you start taking my family from my Facebook page, it's BS. And they took it down.
So they did take it down?
Yeah, they took that one down.
The one with your niece?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's just...
I would imagine that, like I said, you can hate the show, hate whatever it is. That's fine. Hate me, hate Iggy, hate Chairman Doug, Jackson, who else? Martin. Who else can we hate? Am I bleeping anybody out? Hate us all. But I would imagine that people can go, okay, if you're a private citizen, if you're a family member, if you're a, I guess now a 21-year-old, but at the time of the picture, super young, that's against the Geneva Convention, so to speak.
So I give the guy credit for taking it down. He didn't take anything else down. I said, this guy's slandering me. He's lying and making stuff. No response. It's still up there. But the picture, at least, he took down.
Oh, yeah, I got booted as Iggy's friend. Shoot, that's from Buzz. Dirty Chewbacca says, I'm hurt you deleted me.
But I didn't know you. I mean, I didn't know your name. If I didn't recognize you and you're not somebody that I know your name, I felt bad because there's some that I didn't even pay attention to. I said, I don't know you, I don't know you. And then
Stacey McMillan.
Then I get a friend request. Did you delete me? I said, I deleted some people that I probably shouldn't have that I didn't really pay attention to, so I had to add some people. But
I had an awkward spot in the early days of Twitter, which somewhat related to what you're talking about. I didn't know the difference between mute and blocked, and which I know sounds ridiculous in 2026, but this was like when I first created my account in 2009, and I just thought blocked would block what were insufferable tweets, and then the gentleman who I blocked reached out and said, "Hey man, why'd you block me?" Because it's not like we were corresponding on Twitter. I'm like, oh, that's an awkward spot because you can see if somebody blocks you on Twitter. At least you used to.
How do you get a hold of you? If you blocked him, he can't send you DMs or anything.
Because we know each other, and he had my number. So
it was a text. Okay.
This wasn't like, that's what made it really awkward. It's another thing if it's somebody I don't know. Tough spot. So you're in a spot here where some listeners, who thought that you had a friendly relationship with them, such as Buzz and Dirty Chewbacca, who's been trying to bed you for years, feel hurt because you removed them as friends.
But I didn't recognize your name. So if I can't recognize your name, obviously you're not a friend. And if you're a listener to the show, I apologize. But your name on Facebook wasn't Dirty Chewbacca. And Buzz, if I do know you, so if I deleted you or blocked you, just send me another friend request.
All right, back in. You're going to go back in. But now everybody's going to send you friend requests, and now you're going to be back up at 5,000 friends.
If I don't know him, then I'm not going to accept it.
And they're out. All right. Let's see. She doesn't return your DMs.
Okay, we get it.
But handsome 40-somethings who don't creep her out with half-nude photos may get a different response than you. That's from Beer Cats, who I gather is DMing with gluten-free perk.
There's plenty of perk to go around.
I mean, last time I saw you guys, Jay Randolph Jr. was sucking on my toes.
Who was that?
Kara, it's listed as.
Kara. Don't remember her.
I don't either.
There was so many toes suckled upon. It's hard to remember them all.
There were. Yep.
Do you remember the first one? The first FFF?
Wow. Do you?
No.
Okay, I thought you might be asking, like, where's Buck Swope when we need him? I don't even know how it all came to pass. I feel like the most famous one, for me, now the audience might say, like, when Seika, who else? He loved that girl from your friend's place. I can't remember the names of all the people.
Jewel.
Siegfried's Liquid and Lace.
Yeah. Jewel.
Yes.
The one that berated us and didn't, for not wanting to suck on her toes.
I was berated by a couple of them outside of the Hot Shots in Webster Groves. I don't believe Jewel was one of them, but he loved Jewel. Was when we had a law firm. I don't know if they're still around, so I'm just not going to name them. And they might be still around, which might be even more of a reason not to name them. And it was 15 years ago. And Caden would come in studio, Caden Cross, in from LA, maybe like 2 or 3 times a year. And she was in studio, and Jay was in studio, and I think we were giving something away, and women were driving by to participate in Foot Fetish Friday, and one of the women that came in was a paralegal at this law firm, and there was some chemistry between Caden and the girl, and it was posted, but it wasn't posted on YouTube. I don't know what the other media platform it would have been 15 years ago. And it went crazy because I guess people would type in something about Caden and then it would pop up. Well, here's Caden, and this is, I assume, OnlyFans wasn't around in 2011. And she's like, now I've got people using this clip for free, but it's not something that is, my content, a movie. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, and I haven't talked to her in like a year. I think she had it taken down, but it wasn't it wasn't TMA's YouTube channel. It wasn't something else. Now, maybe the listeners can find this, by the way.
Buck Swope in the James Carlton YouTube
God,
chat.
Buck Swope he always knows.
He says the first FFF was Anne Marie Rios.
Adult starlet. Because initially I'm like, that must have been a girl next door. But I think Anne Marie Rios was in studio. I don't know what the backstory, but she was an adult starlet. You probably would be familiar with her, Iggy.
I don't think she is. I think it's Annie Rios, who's a local girl.
No. I know who you're thinking of because I think she was a girl next door. But
I thought he did Foot Fetish with her.
Well, he might have, but we did have Anne Marie in.
No, I'm not familiar with her.
This, of course, different than my wife, Anna Marie.
More soft than deep.
Now, I know how the whole thing came out, and the first foot was down at Wren Lake. It was one of...
Buck Swope says he's calling in, Chairman Carter, the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wall Street.
Call him, Buck. I got my eyes on
He says he's calling.
It was actually a friend of Cletus's. They were all down at Wren Lake together, and he started sucking on her toes.
While she was asleep, too.
Was she asleep?
I believe that's what he said.
Oh, God almighty.
Or Cletus said that. Yeah, so this girl wakes up, and Jennings is suckling.
That's hot.
One of the funniest segments ever. That's right. Doug hosted his own show.
Was that Mr. Goalie?
Yes, while the FFF went down. And so, and then the weirdest deal would happen because we were doing it at KFNS, 8045 Big Bend, Iggy.
Oh, yes.
Johnny the Cat Layton, the original cat. Johnny the Cat Layton. That's why I named the cat, because my dad called John Layton Johnny the Cat. And I'm just like, Jim Hayes is here. And I'm like, Jimmy the Cat Hayes. This is the dumbest story because the cat would go, or people would ask the cat how he got the nickname, and that's the story. Terrible story, but that is the story. And so we'd be doing the show, but this was an office building. There was like a dentist office. John had an insurance business. And then we'd do these Foot Fetish Fridays, and not only would like the Nonling and producer Joe, sometimes Larry Nickel, Jay Boyd, our studio would have all these people in it, and then other guys would all of a sudden be in the studio, and I just assumed they were kind of like the boyfriends or the handlers of the girls. And then one time, there was a guy in there, and it was just a listener.
Just came on in.
He's a frisky lesbo.
And I go, God, I said, your boyfriend's getting a little close to... And she goes, I don't know who that is. And then I said, I don't know if it was the producer Joe or somebody else. I said, well, if she doesn't know who that is, and I don't know who that is, who is that? And he goes, I don't know who that is. So some listener just came in to, like, get close.
It was an open door policy. You'd walk in the front door, and there's our studio. Just walk in the front and just, hey, there's our studio. Just walk on
And he's
in.
holding up his phone.
Buck Swope's on the phone line.
Yes, the great Buck Swope. Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies phone lines. The number is 636-9004-TMA. The all-time great Buck Swope. Good morning, Buck Swope. Good morning, Buck Swope. Good morning, Buck Swope. Good morning, Buck Swope.
You got him potted up?
I do.
Good morning, Buck Swope. Good morning, Buck Swope.
Buck.
Good morning, Buck Swope. I'll tell people about Mark Hanna while Chairman Kurt works this out. He's online at evergreen-ws.com, or you can call 314-889-0503. I've spoken with Mark Hanna, I would say, for like a combined 4 hours. Poor guy. He probably talked for 30 seconds of those 4 hours, and there I am just blabbing away. But man, is he truly is a life Sherpa, applying numbers and logic to solving people's problems and giving guidance. I cannot recommend Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies enough. Evergreen-ws.com or call 314-889-0503. Buck Swope is on the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies phone lines. Good morning, Buck Swope.
Hey, what's up, kids?
Hey, Buck Swope. It's great to hear from you. What do you got going on?
Oh, just hanging out up in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Did you relocate?
No, I'm just in town to see Father John Misty tonight in St. Paul.
Are you going to see Janie the lesbian while you're up there?
I am. She picked me up from the airport.
How about that? I haven't heard from Janie the lesbian in years.
Yeah. No, she's doing well up here with the Viking Queen, and we settled in last night and watched The Fan with Wesley Snipes, as was discussed yesterday on the air. You got to give that one a look, Tim.
It's a good one?
It's kind of a weird movie. It's pretty dark, but they developed an entire plot around, like, psychotic sports radio callers.
Yeah.
And so maybe,
I was about to say, I might not enjoy that as much.
Maybe it hits too close to home. Maybe Jackson would like it, but it works pretty well. Yeah, I think you guys left out Passenger 57, by the way, on that.
Oh yeah, on the Wesley Snipes Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. But I wanted to call in, talk Swope's picks. That episode 41 has the that Anne-Marie Rios episode, that first FFF you're looking for. I think that you also kind of pulled in a girl who worked at the station.
Oof.
That we don't need to name.
HR might want to.
Things that age the worst. Things that age the worst. I don't think anything got too weird with that one. That you had to kind of pump the brakes when you had like I think one time there was like some 19-year-old girl who came in. Maybe she was 21, but it's like she came in with her mom, and episode 41. You can go back and podcast that one. I interviewed Jay. Jay was the guest on that one. So
was Anne-Marie Rios the first Foot and Foot Fetish Friday?
I think she was. I think she was the one that actually. The early ones. I think Non-Gay was the one who started bringing the lotion, and they started over the course of 2011. They started getting increasingly creepy, and you can go back and relive all that on Swope's Picks episode 41.
Are you working on a Lisa Ann edition of Swope's Picks?
Hash this out over the air. So
if I'm out of line, I apologize. I thought you had been talking about.
No. That was actually kind of while I was being serious. That was one of the reasons I called in, because I got you and Iggy on the line here.
Okay, what do we got?
So I did reach out to Lisa Ann back in March to be interviewed for it, and basically, just to be clear, I have two episodes. One is kind of her coming to the show, her coming to the Dotem over and over, her many visits, the dating games, all her two-part questions, and then that one runs up through the last Dotem that she came to, so 2023. And then the part two was kind of the following fall. It doesn't start off with when things go sideways, but we kind of get back into the swing of things, and then of course things went a little sideways one morning, and there was a bit of a build up to that. So I was thinking, okay, we'll do part one, and we'll do part two. We'll split them up. And I reached out to her, and her reply to me was, and I wanted to read this just so we can be clear. She's like, I am working on a new book and a new business, and both require a lot of my time. For now, I want to pass on the interview as, I know the Iggy thing was great for a while, but the way it ended was just another overstep in my life when I went so out of my way. I'm learning to be more reserved, less open, less nice, and less connected with those who drain my batteries. I may be more open to interviews once my work is done with my writing, but time will tell. So my thought was I would interview Iggy and Tim for the part 1, since Lisa Ann passed, and then whenever she is ready to be interviewed for it, she can be the interview for part 2, and we can maybe try and mend fences and maybe just kind of move past the negativity, or at least kind of smooth things over.
I'm in to be interviewed, Buckswap. You just let me know when. I'm in.
And I know Iggy has reached out to me and made it clear that he would like to be interviewed for this.
There'll be no fences mending, because I've already sent her a text trying to bury the hatchet, and she never got back to me.
You just okay. But I think when you go back and listen, like over all the years, there were so many good times and so much. There's just, stuff that I totally forgot happened. So that one is out there. I got a few other ideas cooking. I think Ellen Foley, Timmy Recaps needs an episode. I think Arbor Day probably needs an episode, and I think probably KG and Blueberry Pop Pop need an episode.
Oh wow, yeah, that's episode worthy, no question.
But these are all, I'm just doing this in my spare time. It's not like I'm really monetizing this. It's just kind of a thing that I do once in a while. But I just wanted to call in and let everybody know what the latest was on that, and give my recall of the early FFF days.
God bless. That's good knowledge. Here's my play. Buck Swopen is, from my standpoint, the ultimate TMA show historian. And with Iggy here, and of course Lisa Ann's not here, I do believe that eventually, and maybe not in the too distant future, and I have no reason. It's not like I've been texting with her recently. We probably texted, I don't know, maybe like 8 months, a year ago, that I do believe the fences will be mended. I do believe that. I really do believe that.
Well, if she wants to reach out, I've already reached out once, so I won't do it again.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll try to broker the peace. Maybe I'll try to broker the peace.
She's replies to my emails. We're still in contact, and I just think she really had to reset her boundaries and kind of recalibrate her life, and she just was taking too much on and had just, I think everybody sometimes just needs to kind of reset and reevaluate your priorities and reevaluate your availability that you make to people, and so I respect that, and I'll follow up with her at some point, but it's not one of those things. I'm not going to be emailing her every month. Hey, you want to do the interview now? You just got to kind of let it go for a while. But I'll independently reach out to both Iggy and Tim, and we'll get these interviews knocked out, and we'll get this next episode dropped here. Let's say by the end of the month.
All right. Wow. God bless. That's big. That's big news there. That's big news. That's a few weeks. All right, Buck. Just let me know when. I'm in.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. See you. There's Buck Swope hanging out with Janie the lesbian up in the Twin Cities.
Was he seeing?
Eminem is a Buck Swope joint.
How about that?
Was he seeing Poppy Sesame Seed?
I think Poppy Sesame Seed's opening for Father John Misty.
Is that a Father John Misty?
That's correct.
Never heard of it. He goes to a lot of shows that I've never heard of any of these bands he goes to.
She hasn't responded to your text because she has you blocked, moron. That's from Big Tough.
And you know that how?
Big Tough, how do you know that? Call in 636-900-4TMA. I have an idea. Let's mend the fences, but cut Iggy out of it altogether. Absolutely ruined a great thing the show had, but once again being selfish for his own betterment. That's from Ernie Bjorkman, and he is not happy.
I use bar soap for my backside.
How was it for my betterment? You have to explain it to me. Didn't bother me either way.
Take that, Ernie.
No, I'm just asking him a question.
Chairman Kurt, now you are also a TMA show historian. Do you think the fences will be mended?
No.
Wow. And you think that why? Why?
I think enough time will have passed in her life, and she's a woman of many business ventures and things. I think she'll look at it as I just don't need this.
Yeah, I know, but she didn't need to be on the show. She didn't need to fly into St. Louis. I'm going to see the last time we communicated. And it was super friendly. I mean, it's like, and here's my reasoning, and I say this in sincerity. Yeah, it was about a year ago. That just like when it happened, like if Iggy were, and we fortunately on this show, in its history, we really have had somehow in an industry that tends to have some, I don't know what the right term would be, but some personalities that can be difficult, either on the air or off the air. We really haven't had that. And Iggy's a quality guy, which is why I'm thrilled that he's back and a part of this show. But Lisa Ann also is a quality person, so I think it's a misunderstanding. And I think with time, you kind of go, yeah, you know, I mean, you reached out to her. If anything, honestly, I probably would have thought it might be the other way around. And I think, you know, and it's not fair because I'm putting words in everybody's mouths here, and that's not fair to do. But I think perhaps with time, you go, yeah, maybe I could have handled that differently in both respects. And then you're like, yeah, you just move on. You know, that's what I think. So, like, it'd be one thing if, like, I don't know, sometimes there's situations, whether it be with the show or with, you know, like even something as simple as the Cardinals, where it's kind of like, oh, I know what the situation is here, but we can't talk about it. But it would help explain to the audience why things are the way they are. And you can't say anything, and that puts you in a weird spot. But in this case, I think both parties, obviously, I'm high on both parties, and working with you, going to hell, when I was interning at KFNS in 98 is when I met you. I'm like, I just think if you got two people working in good faith, I think that it can get worked out. And I think that she would. I really do. Maybe I'm off on this. And I'm speaking for two people, which would probably irritate me if somebody were putting words in my mouth, so maybe I'm out of line.
Has there ever been anybody associated with the show, either working or friend of the show, that maybe had a falling out and then re-entered the fray? Because, like, if Lisa Ann just out of nowhere...
That's a good question. Now I'm trying to think about it. Iggy, you're welcome to... I don't think so, because everybody's just kind of on the show, and then eventually they leave. The Cat had his thing, and he really didn't like John Hadley. But that stemmed from stuff at Fox Sports Midwest. And when they brought in John Hadley, that drove both the Cat and Dave Green up the wall because they had issues with him. And I'm kind of like, you know, like I remember calling Doug about it, or Doug became aware of it, and Doug's reaction was, nah, whatever. We've dealt with nonsense before. We'll just deal with it. And I kind of, even though I don't have that personality, I kind of attempted to seek Doug Von Nirvana, because if you're in a spot and there's nothing, like if I didn't have a contract, I would have gone, okay, we'll just go do our own thing, you know. But I was under contract. I was under contract for like 4 more years too. And my wife was pregnant. We thought we lost the baby. And that had all just happened. And I'm just like, yeah, we just got to kind of just deal with the situation. But for those two guys, and I, for a brief period of time, was running KFNS, at least contractually I was, and brought Dave in to be the head of the general sales manager. And obviously the Cat and I had been working together since 2004. But that's what got the Cat, like, he'd get whacked, but then we'd bring him back. And most of the time it happened off the air, and then that same night we'd get him brought back. Iggy got fired on the same voicemail that I found out of, and it was on September 11th, 2017. Easy to remember because it's September 11th. And that night, you know, and it was my first day back from paternity leave for my older son's birth, and I was able to get Iggy's job back that night, so nobody even knew Iggy got fired. I don't know if you did or not. I guess you eventually did.
I got to the point you say they want to fire you. So just call me when it's over. I don't care anymore.
But the Cats one took a couple weeks. And so that went on back and forth, and that was unfortunate. Then I think what that does, and then the Cat's not a part of the show at Hubbard, and I know the Cat wanted to be, but there was not a guaranteed offer on the table from Hubbard, and then KFNS with, I guess it was Dave Zobrist, I think, had a guaranteed offer. And so he took that, and so I understand that people go, oh, and the Cat's mad. He hasn't been on the show regularly, like take your pick. And I don't blame people for thinking that. But I think he was irritated that he wasn't in the mix right out of the gate. But my whole thing was, like I talked about yesterday, here at Hubbard, they're putting us on HD2. There's no track record of the show on HD2, and they are paying you, Doug, Jackson, and myself, and they're like, I think in their minds, they're like, this might not work out. At least we got Tim on 101 where we know it's going to work out, which to the people listening to this show would sound funny because the people listening to this show go, we know TMA works. But in this building, they weren't thinking about TMA on 590 because they don't compete against 590 or any other AM station, really. I mean, I guess maybe KMOX. I don't know. It's not my business. But so they're not thinking about it. But I knew it would work out. And so I said to the cat, once they see the ad revenue come over with us, then they're going to bring you in. And they are. And plus, I was giving back a portion of my base salary to get them in. And then when he said, I'm just going to go ahead and do the thing with Cam and Charlie, that's when I go, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, totally get it. It's a guaranteed thing. I'll take that money that I was going to give to the cat and give it back to bring in the Plowhawk, which is how the Plowhawk got on the show. But as far as people who are on the outs coming back in, now I could be missing somebody, but I don't believe that that's the case. I think anybody who has worked on the show in some capacity has popped up either back on the show or at events over the years. Maybe I'm missing one. I could be off the mark. No, I think Willie was the only person who was terminated. But even in that case, I was trying to, like Doug and the cat and I sat down with him, because what would happen was he would get upset about some things, just like what goes on. I mean, Jackson gets upset, but not to the level of Willie would get really frustrated, and it would just be like with technical things. And the guy who owned the station, Bert Kaufman, was like, hey, we can't have that going on, because he got mad about, like, Chris Trevino was on hold and it wasn't working, and he slammed the phone down. And Bert, who owned the station, and he was an older man, he's since passed, it's like, you can't have people acting like that here. I own this equipment, and these people are my employees. They're not your employees, as in the people who worked at WGNU. And so we said, hey, it's cool to be passionate, but you can't be, And so I tried to find something for him, and I think he did the show with Pat Emig and Jeff Ablin, I think. I don't know. I mean, you're talking 12 years ago. But other than that, I think everybody is left on their own as far as the relationship with the show. And if I'm wrong, by the way, I will correct it, because I don't have anything to hide here, because, fortunately the truth, at least the intents here, is to be as honest as I can with everybody. I love Inside Baseball with Tim at South City Implant. It's already 12:02. Bring back Weezer. Weezer, I believe, was an intern who I think has popped up since. Gangster Pete. I don't know if he's been back on the show. I guess he was left he left when Jackson.
His fan page. He was.
There's a Gangster Pete fan page?
No. He was off the fan page, I think, by the time the show ended, when he got out.
In Pete's case, to go Inside Baseball, and I guess do I need to, like, stop the show? I got Spread Zone. That's why I got to stop the show. Got it. But with Gangster Pete, he was going to be, and then I got to go. But I'll do more on this. I'll answer whatever questions people want to ask. Gangster Pete, when we were buying KFNS, and that was a real thing. And then the owner changed the terms a week from closing. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Honestly, I'm grateful he did.
Shock. What a shock that happened.
Yeah, but I mean, that wound up being a good, as I've said oftentimes in the poker tournaments I've run deep in, oftentimes I look back on the hands and it's the ones that I didn't play that wound up helping me win. And that was a good break, that the terms were changed. And then we're just like, well, that's, those are material terms. We're getting up and walking away. And that's when the cat and Plowhawk were, quote, furloughed. But Gangster Pete was going to, because he did a great job, he was kind of Sea Monster-esque with regard to management skills. And he was going to have an executive producer role and receive a pay bump. It was already budgeted for with our ownership. And then when it fell through, he's like, this place is it's never going to work here with these guys. And he was right. And that's why he left. And then Gangster Pete when he left, that's when Jackson emailed me like 3 minutes or 8 minutes or something like that after posting the podcast talking about how we're going to look for Gangster Pete's replacement. But yeah, that's what soured him on it, and understandably so, too, because that guy was a sharp guy. So Anyway, there's the
Now he's a big wig in sanitation.
That's correct, in the city sanitation. I am new to TMA for 2 years, so I love the inside baseball. I'm happy to give the inside baseball. I like the questions. I like when I have a chance to answer them. Yeah, that's the backstory on that. Design Air Heating and Cooling has been with us for a long time. Online at designairservice.com. That's Seth Goldcamp. Got a great email from a listener yesterday talking about coming back from a vacation, gets back to the house. The air conditioning hadn't been working. His longtime HVAC provider said, we can't get out till Friday. He calls Design Air Heating and Cooling. This was at 12:30. The air was back on at 3:30. That's how quickly, and that was in Alton. That's how quickly they came out there to save the day. Design Air Service.com. Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Let's see. Lifetime Roofing sponsored the text inbox. Online at lifetimeroofingstl.com. Ask about their award-winning lifetime warranty on the Lifetime Roofing roofs that they install. They are locally owned and they are veteran-owned, and that means they're locally accountable to you, the customers. That's Dustin McClendon and Lifetime Roofing. If you're in the market for a roof, Lifetime Roofing, STL.com. Time for us to shut it down. An extra 5 minutes here of After the Morning After. Chairman Kurt, it might not have been a perfect game, but I think you go B at least.
I'll be better tomorrow.
Okay, there you go. And Cam's going to sit in on After the Morning After tomorrow. Iggy. He really wants to. He's a big After the Morning After guy.
Looking forward to it. How do I put that extra 5 minutes on my time card?
Yeah, I think just submit it to Tommy.
Okay.
I'm
looking forward to seeing Cam tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Time for us to go. Bye.
KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Watch TMA on YouTube. Click the bell to subscribe. Download the podcast. Find it at TMASTL.com or wherever you podcast. And check us out on TikTok at TMA.